So right now, management teams all over the world are debating what they should do with the future workplace. Some, like Dropbox, are getting rid of offices for individual working almost completely. And at the other end of the spectrum, like Goldman Sachs, they almost seem to be denying that the last 18 months has even happened, and urging everyone to get back to the office as soon as possible. Many leaders, though, are taking a more progressive and rational approach and opting for a hybrid workplace. So whether that's a kind of 2-3 day split like at BP, or even better, like O2, Mondelez, Standard Chartered, where they're allowing for personal choice about where we want to work. But what does this mean for managers who are trying to get the work done, keep customers and team members happy, and still provide this level of individual choice? I want to share some tips on how you can make the future workplace work. As managers trying to juggle different and sometimes conflicting needs and wants within a team and still deliver, it's tempting to look for some rule or policy that we can use to give us the answer. But the smarter leaders know that a prescriptive policy is never going to cater for every possible situation. The best and really the only way to resolve conflicting needs and wants is to talk it through as a team. If you treat people like grown-ups and share the dilemma, you can work through it together through conversation. True, not everyone is going to get everything they want, but you're treating them like adults, and it's more likely to be resolved amicably without applying a big one-size-fits-all approach. If you're really going to make the future ways of working happen effectively, then it's worth thinking about how you can create the same experience for your people, regardless of where they're based. It's well known that human beings tend to show bias towards the people that we see more regularly, and that remote workers can feel less valued as a result. One way of levelling the playing field is the approach that the company Coinbase take, and they commit to there being no explicit or implicit disadvantages to working from any location, and they conduct all team meetings as if everyone were working remotely, including the colleagues in the office who connect from their desks. You can also think about how you reward and recognise your people, and make sure that the celebrations aren't always office-based. Managers I meet are worrying about how they can continue to retain their culture if more of their team aren't in the office regularly. And I think this is a really valid concern. What we see are companies being really clear on the key interactions with their team members that are best done face-to-face, the so-called moments that matter. Managers at ABN AMRO, they identified 4 key moments that matter: being recruited, being onboarded, dealing with difficult times, and building social relationships. And they make sure that these happen when they're together rather than trying to do them over Teams or Zoom. So maybe have a think about the moments that matter in your area, or better still, discuss and agree them with your team. Agreeing on the types of activity that are best done remotely or face-to-face, rather than how many days a week need to be spent in the office, tends to be more productive. And as a leader, what about you? How might you need to work differently? There's a few questions that I think we need to ask ourselves as leaders that help us move to a more hybrid workplace. Number 1, are my meetings always about tasks, or do I create opportunities for social interaction? Number 2, am I having enough quick check-ins and chats about career development? Number 3, am I celebrating enough as a team? And how am I recognising individual team members? Number 4, am I using the range of tools that are available like WhatsApp or Slack to keep the conversations going outside of meetings? And finally, do I work from anywhere, or am I always in the office? If we leaders don't actively work away from the office, then it's going to be something that is seen as frowned upon. More than anything, leaders can make this work by not seeing and framing working from home as a bit of an indulgence. If we continue to imply, but the real work happens in the office, we'll be back to packed commuter trains and cubicle working in no time at all. Offering greater choice about where and when our teams do their work is a fantastic opportunity to provide the flexibility and the autonomy that we crave, whilst providing social interaction and structure too.